So I made the finger in the side view.
What are the dimensions?
Yep, it's a cylinder. It is radius 0.25, height 0.7, round cap on, and subdivisions on the cap 4. And that's just create cylinder, side view, click and drag, give it a height, and then add in the dimensions there. So .25, height 0.7, round cap on, subdivision caps 4. And then I have to position it. So we only need to do it the once. So position it into where you want it to be. I have named it in my outliner, I named it finger. I'm going to move the pivot point. So holding down or hitting D again and moving the pivot point down to the end of the finger. So now if I copy that, so Control D and move it. Control D, move it. Group them and do all that, but it's probably easier just. I'm just positioning them now a little bit. And then for the thumb, I could just copy one of them. Rotate it around. I could make the thumb a little bit smaller, I think. And I'll just scale it, just eyeballing, make it a little bit skinnier. Paste and move. So probably about time to do a save. So say save scene as, and I'm not sure where this is going. Okay. I'm just going to go. Back in 2 minutes. Bathroom break. Out there, drink water.
The thumb, the same as the fingers. So, visually, it's also
I don't mind sometimes how it looks it. It's kind of flat from it's flat from the bottom.
This is
One more.
easy.
Hey, pocket, Stop those, Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, you're
But
gonna do
I
it.
that's the thing, that's not.
I'm not actually from there, but
We did it. It's not recommended something different. It comes out of the trash.
Yeah, I don't think I have experience to like recommend something. I would say that maybe now that you're considering it too. Yeah.
At least once. What you do.
When you hear a thing in America where like people were doing like kind of forced deworming, because someone said like, no, someone said it's germs that are COVID. So all we have to match was like to see what it was. Well, not that, and they all died.
Oh, what? This makes the COVID just go, oh, I'm out of Especially if you don't have learns as well. No, I never recorded
Oh, we're kind of scary. We're so scary. Oh, you're over metal. Oh, I think slam.
Sorry, please. I copied the cylinder. How can I,
We're going to attributes, we're going to see to change the option to change the length and the width and the size like of our copy.
No, you don't get it on the copied one. You only get that on the original one. Can you keep your mask on, please, Kristen? You don't, yeah, you can't. That's a good point. So when you create an object, you only have the option to change its inputs on the original one. So if I've copied, so for instance, like that finger, and I can change the inputs there, 0.25, 0.7, and subdivisions 4 and that, and round cap on. If I go to one of the copied ones, I don't get those inputs. So you can only change the parameters on the original object, not on copied ones.
Just repeat the
Yeah,
parameters of the
there.
fingers,
Radius 0.25, height 0.7, subdivision caps 4, round cap on. And then the thumb, we just, yeah, yeah. Okay, so we have one arm done then with the hands and the fingers. I'm going to, well, I want to put a bit of a bend on the arm. So I'm just going to rotate it up a little bit. So rotate the arm kind of that way, just to indicate where the elbow is bending. This is, which means I may need to move all my hand and finger down a little bit, fingers, oops. Actually, you can do that too. So you see the way you can resize your viewports. So I'm going to select these and just pull them all down a little bit. There. So I just put a little bit of a bend on the arm. So in my top view, it looks like this. In my front view, or my perspective view, it's like that. We can make a group now so that we can mirror it over the other side. So I'm going to select the arms with the hands and the fingers. Edit group. If I see that in my outliner, there it is there. I'll call it arm. So pick up the arm group. If I go to move the group, so see its pivot point is down. Anyway, it doesn't really matter for now. I'm just going to leave that. To mirror it over the other side, then we're going to go to edit, duplicate special, and go to the setting. Just edit reset so we're all on the same. Change the scale, the first scale 1 to -1. And apply. So it should have flipped over and then we just need to move it. So we have our two arms with hands.
Go through that again, how does the palm of the hand to be like for the corners to be like sunk in?
You just selected the vertices of the window around them and moved it.
Okay.
So I just kind of pushed in the two corners and I pulled out the front a little bit, just to knock off the squareness. Which one? So you need to right click and go into vertex.
Yeah.
and then put a window around and move.
The bottom part.
Yeah.
Parentheses, the one bottom on top, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm using a window to select it, because that selects the bottom and the top. Yeah, yeah, I'll do that again now. Hang on, I'll just get rid of that one. So if I have one arm done, I'll just ungroup this one for now. So I kind of put a bit of a bend in the elbow because that's the way I want it. All my objects are here, so I've no groups on them yet. So I'm just selecting all the arm and hand and fingers. Edit group. I'm going to name that group because I can keep track of it then. I'll call it arm. So that's just a group with all the arm pieces in it. I did that in my top view, and I'm keeping an eye in my perspective as well. Actually, I can see my fingers are a bit. I can still move things even if I've grouped after I've grouped them, so it's okay. So then to mirror it over, I'm going to select the group that I made with the arm. I'm going up to Edit, Duplicate Special, and clicking on the little box beside Duplicate Special. So the little gray box to get into the settings. I'm going to go Edit, Reset, just to make everything back the same here. And then highlight that first little first column there, turn it from 1 to -1 and apply. And I should see my hand, it'll flip over. Now it didn't land in the right place, but that's okay. I can just, while the group is still selected, just move it over. So if I look at my outliner now, I have my arm group, and now I have arm 1 group. It automatically puts a 1 when you duplicate things. It'll, you know, add a numeric number to it. And it's probably a good time to do a save. So go File, Save, Scene As. And what I would keep doing now is incremental save. So the last one was my Ice Cream Man 1. This is going to be Ice Cream Man 2. You know, so then if something goes wrong, you have the last one to go to. Yeah.
How do you put the little dent in the arm again? Like just so it's at an angle.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was just moving it. So that was just rotate.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then you just match them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the legs then are kind of just made of similar, they're made of the same kind of cylinder, just a little bit bigger. So I'd make the leg cylinders in my top view. So create polygon primitive cylinder. I'm going to do it in the top view, click and drag to give a height. So I'm keeping an eye on my perspective. I could do it in the perspective view either if you want, either one. So this one is going to be I'll say radius 0.4, height 4, so a little bit longer than the arm. Subdivision caps 4 and round cap on. So obviously need to move it. And again, this is, you know, you're using all your different views to see. I'm just docking my outliner over here on the side. So kind of just roughly position the leg. So I position the leg, I would name it leg underscore up. Control D to duplicate and then move the second one down.
So did you just change the scales or did you change something else to get the, because it's mirrored, but it's upside down, if you get me. So which one is which of the axes is responsible for the harm?
Well, on my one, it was the first one. I'm doing it in my top view. My one was the first one. The x-axis I changed to -1.
Mine were all already negatives, so I would just put it to a regular one and whatever.
If it go to edit and reset, and that'll just bring them all back to solid, to full numbers. It'll reset all the settings back. So edit, reset, and then change the first one first. So -1 in that one, apply. If that didn't work, we'll then just change that one back to 1 and try the next one. You know, it does depend on, like, if you've created them in different views. This is the problem. It can be.
What you mean creating the different views of was working perspective and I was just using the different views to.
Yeah, but if they're not exactly the same, or if your group was created in a different view, you know, each item has its own UCS, its own core measurements. So the leg in the side view, then I'm going to move the pivot point again because, you know, I don't want my upper leg to rotate about the center of the thigh. I'd like that to rotate about the kind of the hip direction. So I'm going to hit D and move my pivot up to the top of the leg. And the same on the lower leg, D. And move it up to the knee joint.
What's the scale of the leg?
The leg, yeah, is inputs the radius 0.4, height 4, subdivision caps 4, and round cap on. So I'm going to kind of give a bit of a bend on the knee too on the side. So I'm just going to bend the upper leg forward a bit and bend the lower leg forward a bit and move them then to join up again.
legs same dimensions as the arms?
No, it's a little bit fatter and a little bit longer. So inputs radius 0.4, height 4. That's not crucial that they're, you know, these are not anatomically measured characters either. So
Are we going to animate this person then afterwards?
we're going to pose it. We won't be animating it, we'll be posing it. So the foot, then I'm going to create a cube in the top view, just a box. And I'm going to make that width 2.5. Height 1. Depth 4. Subdivisions 4, 2, 4. So we're just given a bit of resolution to work with. I'm going to leave it out away from the leg at the moment, just so we can see in the top. Yep. So there. So width 2.5, 1, 4, and then 4, 2, 4. Two 2.5, 1, 4, 4, 2, 4.
What was the vision caps? It was 8?
4.
Oh, 4, sorry.
See, just shape out the shoe a little bit then. In my top view, I'm going to right click, go to vertex. And I can pull out maybe the first 3 vertices there in the top view, which means it's pulling them all out underneath as well. So I'm going to round it off a little bit like that. At the back then, I'm going to pick the corner and start pushing them in. Get fancier. If I select the entire row, I can scale it too. Just shaping it a little bit, it doesn't have to be perfect.
What would you like the dimensions to be for the foot?
2.5, 1, 4, 4, 2, 4.
Have you turned the shapes back to solid?
Right click object mode or F8. Oh, you mean visually? Is it?
Yeah, like blue.
It's all see-through. Have you typed try 1, 2, or 3? maybe, or else it's, see under shading there, you may have gone to wireframe. So just click
Sorry, Denise.
smooth shading on.
Did you put that on screen already? The dimensions?
We just want to put a little bit of curve around the top of the foot there. Or, you know, just a bit of a knocking off the hard edge around it. So I'm going to use the edge this time. So selecting, so right click and go into edge mode instead of vertex. Select the edge all the way around the top. I've got the edge going all the way around. And I'm going to use a bevel tool. So edit mesh and bevel. And I click bevel, and it kind of puts a straight bevel on it, but this little menu will appear beside it. So just change the segments, I think, to 4 should be enough, yeah. So 4 kind of, you know, rounds it off. The fraction, the first one there, if I increase that to say 0.8, that'll make it bigger. Or if I reduce it, it'll make it smaller. So I can maybe, I'm gonna make mine 1, fraction 1, segments, maybe 5. So that just, you know, it gives a bit of a round edge on the top there of the shoe, which if I didn't have my, softens that hard edge. It's not very shoe looking still, is it? Yep, I'll do it again. All the way back. So I right click, go to edge mode, select all the edges along the top there, all the way around till all the edges turned orange. And then it is edit mesh and bevel. So I'm beveling the edge. I can increase the fraction if I want up to 1. So I'm making the bevel bigger, and the segments to 5, and that curves it. Bit of a lump in my shape there that's annoying me. I'm going back to. You can still move it after, you know, you can still shape after bevel, you just will have a lot more to work with.
You feel what I'm making the cloth again?
Yeah. I'll just bevel this and then I'll do it again. So I'm going to select all the edges around the top to bevel, edit mesh, bevel, change my fraction just to make my, well, that might be a bit big. That'll do. And segments 5. So I started with a cube, create polygon primitive cube, click drag and give it a height. because this one wasn't copied, I can go back and check the dimensions on this. So it's 2.514424. So 2.5 4 4 2 4. And then in my top view, I use my vertices to kind of shape this out a bit. So using drawing a window around and selecting the vertices and shaping it that way. And then I added the bevel.
Every time I go to move the dots, it just moves the entire shape.
Yeah, your probably your smooth is on. So hit B on your keyboard. B. That should turn that off. The bevel, yeah, it I ended up going with the it said fraction 1 segments 5.
I'm just wondering, see the way you're shaping the foot and on like the way you made it wider at the top and the more smaller bit at the bottom. And see where you're changing when I'm clicking on the vertex points to turn a corner. Can I get them to uniformly go like change size on both sides without both going to the left rather than.
You can do it with scale. So if I do this and 4 2 4, say that's my foot shape. Right click vertex. So I can, in my top view, if I select all the vertices at the back, I can use my scale tool.
Oh, I see already.
Yeah. So I can do that. Yeah. The dimensions were 2.514 and 424 for the segment subdivisions. Ooh. I put kind of pushed my shoe back there into position, but this is what it looks like. So just adding the bit of, the bevel is just softening the top there. It's another tool we can use. So I start positioning that then on the leg. And the same as the arm, then I can group the leg and mirror it over. So this one's going to be leg. And edit, duplicate special. I'm going to reset again just to make sure everything's right. -1 in the scale and apply. It went the other side, but that's okay. I'll just push it out. Go up. All right. Did you pick the edges? Yeah. Because just sometimes it. So I'll just put I'm going to save them ice cream man 3.
Sorry, I'm going to go with the, just the initial shape. Yeah, that's what I would do.
So don't mind if we can finish him up next week too. We've done a lot today. We did good.
Yes, I see the way one in here kind of crossing it, but the other one very hard, most of the problem. So, I'm actually going to use it, but I think I might have to go already. Yes, it does have. Yeah. So what happens then is. Faster in fairness. You know, there's just a lot of angles on top, so what'll happen if you try and select one of them, you're gonna be able to there and it's just crashing.
Yeah, sometimes if beveling and that stuff kind of goes askew on you, it can be easier to kind of redo it.
So actually it is shape.
Yes.
So what happened, yeah, so then it kind of. So when you're selecting the emergency. So when you get to select emergency, you're going to put a leader on. Yeah, we're leaving it, you're in here, just you can drive the window around, so what that does. On this side, yeah. It's up all over, so when you click on one, you're going to get in the top of it. So, yeah, all of them together. Otherwise, it's very skewed.
And that's too much to learn.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can save up, if you want to. We will continue with the foot next week if it didn't work out. Yeah, we all did good.
I did learn about this one.
That's how you need to select all the edges around the top there. And you can twist. Try and use the arrows, and I said, just
Oh,
just
yeah,
just some of the other tools have some shortcuts. And then go next, you take it to the so you can increase the fraction. I got one to work on things. Go back. No, don't do it again. And right click. So what, if you click on bevel and you clicked away, you can't, if you go bevel again, you're actually doing another bevel, so you have to kind of get to the settings a different way. So should that again. You can just, yeah, you can hit play wherever you're at and you're done. Good. We can start rendering out, well, not, we won't now, but you know, the progress as you're building them, you put them into the notebook then.